Do you have your roots growing? Join me at the table as we answer that question. Now, some of you probably are like, do I have roots growing? Oh, well, yeah, I go and I look in the mirror every day and I see that my roots are getting different colors. They're here and there, or, you think about that. But I'm not talking about that. We've been talking about kind of the series of life in the seed. And this week, earlier, we talked about what ground is your seed planted. And so when we talk about what ground we have, the next part is that seed growing roots? When I was looking this up about a seed, the seed absorbs the nutrients in the soil, in the water, in the sun. And as it takes that in, it starts to grow. And that's when the roots start to grow. Before we have the harvest, before we have the leaves and the stem, before we even have the shoot, something's taking place underground, and that is the roots. When we know that there's life in the seed and we plant it in good ground, the next step is it being rooted? Is that seed being rooted? Is it producing roots? And when we think of roots, we think of how deep are they getting? The scripture I want to give to you for today, for our little talk on rooted, is Ephesians 3:17. It says, so that Christ may dwell in your heart through faith, that you being rooted and grounded in love. Being rooted and grounded in love. Do you know that the proper soil, which gives the proper nutrients, that in getting the water and the sun that it needs, causes that embryo, that seed to grow, and from that opens that seed up so the roots start taking place? We are to be rooted and grounded in love. Who is love? God is love. Do you know that in the natural, nothing really grows without love? My son won't grow up in the things that I want him to grow up in if I do not love him. My relationship with my husband won't grow unless it's done in love. My job, if I don't love what I'm doing, I don't grow. The seed will not grow and will not produce roots if it is not in love. Love, again, is the proper nutrition, ingredients that is needed to show growth. So that seed being planted has to be planted in the right ground and surrounded by love, surrounded by good things to grow. Because if we were to plant a seed, even in the right soil, and we did not encourage it, we did not water it, we didn't love it, we didn't want it to produce, when it starts to produce, it won't be as full as it's supposed to be. That's what I want you to get from this. Is your seed rooted and grounded in love? Are you expecting that seed to produce? Because when you're expecting your seed to produce, you get excited about it. You talk about it. You rejoice about it and over it. And it will produce. So now that we're going through this process, we know there's life in the seed. We know we're going to put that seed in good ground. Now I want that seed to be rooted and grounded. Is it going to be rooted and grounded in expectations? Or is it going to be rooted and grounded in, I don't care if it produces or not? Because when your harvest comes, when the things you've been believing for come, you're going to be like, you won't even acknowledge it. You'll just say, oh, that was just coincidence. Or that was just, you might not even realize that the harvest has come in. And if you don't know that the harvest has come in, you won't go get it. We're talking about a process of seed, time, and harvest. Life in the seed to reap the harvest. There's a harvest in our seed. And all of what we do for God is on seed, time, and harvest. I want you to produce, and I want you to receive the harvest. So think about it. I know there's life in the seeds. Now I know what kind of ground I need to plant it in. Now that seed is planted, then what? What am I going to do? Am I going to expect that seed to grow? Am I going to talk to that seed and rejoice over that seed? Because when we do that, it is rooted and grounded in love.